So I'm making butter in my kitchen today, and I thought I would just take you guys along. It's a very simple process. If you have access to raw milk, when you milk a cow and you allow that milk to sit, heavy cream basically will rise to the top, and you'll see a very distinct line. Now that does vary from cow to cow. I have my cow Clover, who I think gives an incredible amount of cream. She has a very high butter fat content in her milk. However, Maggie on the other hand gives delicious milk, but her cream is very little. It also depends on if you're calf sharing. Right now I'm not calf sharing with Clover, so all the cream comes at the very last. So when you milk your cow out at the last, you're gonna get the cream usually. And when you have a calf and you're doing what's called calf sharing, you will put the calf up either in the evening or in the morning, and then after a period of time, you're gonna milk that cow, and the cow will typically save all the cream for the baby. They're gonna hold it. It's really incredible. They can actually do that. So you're gonna milk your cow out, and you're gonna see like a very teeny tiny cream line and wonder what's going on. The cow is just holding it for her baby, and that's totally fine. That's typically what happens. But when you're not calf sharing, Clover is well past her time of when we would have a calf on her. So she has no baby on her. She's actually going to calve. We're drying her up right now. She's going to calve in October. And so we will be calf sharing then, and we will probably not be getting all the cream. So I'm trying to make all the butter I can. I'm making it every other day right now. And we're getting loads of butter. It's just a dream come true. It's amazing. That's definitely one of my favorite things about having a dairy cow. But I'm going to show you here how we make it, because it involves one ingredient. It's very simple. You can just see a distinct line right here. And all of that is cream. We're going to scoop that off the top. You can see here that there's yellow, but then there's white underneath that yellow. The white underneath it is just milk. And so that's letting you know you're at the bottom of your cream line. You don't want to get too much of that milk. So I just kind of skim around here just for a second, and then I probably right here will be done, because you can see there's a good bit of milk in there. Now when you look in here, you can see there's just a very little bit of cream on top. I wanted to show you guys this because I typically let my cream set for a day or two, sometimes 3, before using it. But this is milk that I milked this morning, and you can see the cream has not quite thickened up yet. It's still pretty runny. But if you let that sit for a day or two, it's gonna get just as thick as the cream you guys saw a minute ago. All right, so this is my old Jim Dandy. So it's got a lid on it, and you just turn. And I'm gonna unwrap this, and I'm gonna plug it in. As soon as you plug it in, it starts working. Now you can see the churn is moving, and all that is required to make your butter here is to have your cream and the churn on, and that's it. And it's going to do all the work for you. I'm going to leave this churn moving until the cream will start to turn, and what's going to happen is you're going to get buttermilk and the butter, and they're both going to separate from one another. And it's a very simple process. It's a very easy process. You can see here, I literally just leave it moving, and now you can see that yellow in there. The white part is buttermilk, and the yellow in there is the butter. I think this process is so simple, and yet it's so delicious. And I actually will let my churn run for a little bit longer, just so the butter and buttermilk separate properly.
because if you take it out too soon, the butter will be really soft and mushy. But I just let it go a little bit longer, maybe a couple minutes, and then I'm just going to remove my butter from the buttermilk. And believe me, we do not throw that buttermilk out. That is what makes pancakes and all kinds of delicious baked goods. And if you've ever had buttermilk from the store, this is not that. This is not cultured buttermilk. This is sweet buttermilk. So when you drink this, it is delicious. It's so good in your coffee. You can just see I'm removing the butter and I'm going to wash it. People are like, it trips them up because they're like, how do you wash butter? You literally stick it in an ice bath, which I just have freezing cold water here. I removed most of the ice. And you're just going to do this. And all you're doing here is washing out that excess buttermilk. You don't have to do this, believe it or not, but your butter will turn faster if you're keeping it in the fridge. I usually don't keep my butter in the fridge. I will just put it in the freezer, and then whenever I need it, I take it out. But this is a very simple process, super easy, and it is what we call washing butter. Once I feel like my butter has been washed of the buttermilk, I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it on some unbleached parchment paper. And then I'm just going to flatten that and I'm going to stick it in the freezer unless I'm either gifting it to a friend or I'm going to be using it right away. They have butter molds and all kinds of things that are fancy and pretty, but honestly, I just like to keep things very simple. You can see the buttermilk in the background right there. I'm actually going to culture that. So I'm leaving that out, and that's actually going to be left out for 24 hours. But here you can just see I'm just going to take a little bit of my jute string and wrap it around there, and that's it. It's such a simple process to make your homemade butter, and it's super, super delicious.